Welcome back. You're listening to Houston Real Estate Radio. I'm your host, Shannon Register, and every week we bring you news and information you can use on your next real estate transaction. If you've got a real estate question, give us a call. We're actually answering your real estate questions right here on the show today. We took a lot of real estate questions when we were out at the Texas Home and Garden Show a couple of weeks ago. You can find us at most any of the home and garden shows around town. We have a remote broadcasting booth, and we go out there and we give out home valuation reports to consumers and answer your real estate questions. So we're doing that today on today's segment. And if you want to find us online, go to HoustonRealEstateRadio.com. You can also find us on Facebook, and you can call in your questions at 281-882-8088, 281-882-8088. All right, we're going to go ahead and jump into our next question. I've got Chris Childress here from Register Real Estate Advisors. He's a realtor. He's also one of our agent trainers here at REA. And Keith Hebert, he's our business development rep and a commercial realtor and residential realtor as well, and a broker associate with our company. So got some great experts here on the show to answer some of your real estate question.
Yeah, I'd like to know when I can get rid of my PMI so I can save that money every month on my house.
Boy, that's a good question. Everybody wants to get rid of that PMI, right?
It is. You know, there's a couple different answers. It depends on what type of loan you do.
And you used to be in lending, right? So you know all about this.
For quite a long time. So it depends on what type of loan you do. You know, if you do conventional financing, the way to get out of mortgage insurance is just to put enough down up front, which is 20%, is where that threshold is. Not everybody's able to do that. Yeah. So on conventional mortgages, you're going to have what's referred to as private mortgage insurance, and you'll have that until you reach the 80% mark. And what I mean by that is once you gain 20% equity in that property over what your initial loan amount was. So as an example, if you have a $100,000 loan amount, once you reach that $80,000 mark on your loan balance, you can call your lender, which you do have to call. It just doesn't happen automatically.
Right. But they're not going to voluntarily remove it.
Give that money back, right? So you'll just call the lender, you'll go through that process, and then they'll drop that from your payment once you get there.
And sometimes you have to get an appraisal, right?
Well, you do. I mean, in a refinance environment, you would refinance, and then if you have that 20% equity at that point, you could get there sooner. Whereas if you have that mortgage insurance, and again, you pay your principal balance down, it'll actually work off your initial loan amount from where you started. And then on FHA, it's actually 22% versus 20% like you have on conventional. Okay. Mm-hmm. So once you reach 78% of your original principal balance, your mortgage, then you will call your lender and have them remove that to drop that payment.
All right, very good. I bet you, Chris, there are people out there who've had their mortgage for 15 years and still have PMI on it. They've never removed it. Yeah,
there's some. It's supposed to fall off automatically, but there's so many people that have got their houses financed, and with servicing and the transfer of servicing with these mortgage companies, it gets missed quite a bit of time.
Yeah. All right, next question.
Okay, and tell us your name.
My name is Pat Morgan.
And Pat, what question do you have for real estate today?
Where can a young person just starting out in their career find an affordable home close into the city of Houston?
That's a great question, and we will have that information for you next Sunday, so do tune in.
All right, that's actually Cindy Henry, one of our agents on location out at the Texas Home and Garden Show, and she was taking people's questions, and so then we're answering them this week here on the show. But if you've got a question, you can call us with your question, 281-882-8088. You can also tweet us your questions using hashtag HRER if you're a big fan of Twitter, and send those questions over that way. All right, we're going to go to Keith for this one. Any homes inside the loop that are reasonably priced?
Well, yes, I want to answer Pat's question, and I just did some research on the Houston Multiple Listing Service this morning, and I found I used the criteria of any homes that were under $150,000 and above $75,000, and also under $75 a square foot. I think is a pretty reasonable price. Well, when I did that, I found 163 homes. Predominantly, though, those homes were in 2nd and 3rd Ward and 5th Ward. So, yes, there's plenty of affordable homes in the Houston market inside the loop.
All right, fantastic.
That particular area too is actually referred to now as the East End Revitalized, and it's just an up-and-coming area with a lot of young people in that area, have a whole lot of entertainment and stuff to do out there. So
a lot of young folks want to be down in that area.
Yes.
Okay, when I was down there showing homes recently, I think you really have to be under 40 in that area.
There's a cutoff, huh?
Yeah.
All right, we've got more questions.
Hi, my name is Deidre Hammonds, and I live in Missouri City. And I'm looking at new construction, and I'm wondering why would a buyer decide to use a real estate agent for new construction?
I don't really have a question. We were selling a property.
Well, that's a really good question. I do actually, as a broker, as a real estate agent helping consumers, I hear this question a lot.
Well, I think you've got to decide as a consumer, who would you rather work for you? The person who's representing the builder or a realtor who would be representing you? And I think it's important to have proper representation so that your interests are being upheld.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I mean, the sales representatives at the builder's office are employees of that builder, so naturally their responsibility, the fiduciary responsibility, is to that builder or their boss. So it's there's so much involved and so many things that can be missed. Not only buying a house, but you're actually having a house built and constructed. So you definitely want to have that representation specifically to your interest.
And I think one of the things to also note is that they don't use promulgated contracts. They have an attorney write that contract for them, the builder, to represent the builder. And so having somebody else who can help you through that contract, understanding what all you're signing, I think is very important. And it's usually free to have representation by an agent. Why would you not want that free representation, right?
I completely agree.
Usually most, especially big builders, but most builders have it, the realtor's fee is already built into their marketing cost. It's not a per house cost. It's a marketing cost. And so not using a realtor really can save you money in most cases.
Well, a lot of builders will seek out realtors because they know that they'll help facilitate that transaction and make that transaction actually reach a successful endpoint.
Very true. All right. We've got one more call in. Are y'all ready?
Yeah.
Here in Leon County, actually, but we live in Pasadena. And Zillow had our property listed at $50,000 below what HAR had it posted. Then they began to post the property was off the market, the property was sold, the property was no longer for sale. Outside realtors started calling. The people started making offers based on this $50,000. It was horrible. So they're horrible. I wish we could just do away with them. Thank you.
I couldn't agree more. Zillow is, it's a marketing company, and that's really all they are. They're not licensed realtors. They don't provide listings. They don't provide any real estate services. All they do is generate revenue by taking IDX feed or information from the multiple listing services, which we as realtors put that information in there, and then I don't know what happens during the translation, but that happens. We get calls all the time about that exact scenario. So,
and then they just sell those leads back to us realtors.
That's exactly
Stop
what they're
purchasing leads, realtors.
Yes.
And there's no way to stop it. I mean, they are a giant, especially after this big merger coming up between Zillow and Trulia. And that's why we dedicated an entire hour-long show to this topic last week, because it is so important. And we hear so many complaints from consumers about Zillow. So if you go back to, if you go to HoustonRealEstateRadio.com, go to last week's show, we have an entire hour devoted to this Zillow-Trulia merger. We heard from Shally Ralph, who is the current chair of the Houston Association of Realtors. We also heard from Danny Frank, who is the past chair of HAR, and he also serves, for TAR and NAR, different committees. He's very involved. Got their information, their look on, their take on it, and really, and we also looked at the official statements put out by TAR and NAR on Zillow as well. So a lot of information. We even went back to previous interviews we've done with Zillow. So a lot of information. If you go to HoustonRealEstateRadio.com, you can listen to last week's show that was all about Zillow. We just heard from a consumer that's not real happy with them. And so we feel your pain as realtors. We understand why you're not happy with them. And, there's nothing that we can do about it. We can't fix it. But it's interesting to hear your feedback on that. I'm joined here in the studio by Keith and Chris. We're going to be back next segment talking about more. We're going to discuss Proposition 1 a little bit further. Make sure if you're not registered to vote, you do that by tomorrow. Tomorrow's the last day to get registered to vote so that you can vote in the November 4 election. We'll be right back here on Houston Real Estate Radio, so stick around. Bye.